Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be continuing into part 3 of What If Goku Never Stopped Training. If you haven't seen part 2, there's a little title card where you can go check out and see what happened last time. But we'll be going into the Android saga and see how the Z Fighters, without the Saiyan warriors, will plan on taking out the dangerous threat early without the warning of Trunks. Without further ado, let's dive into part 3 of What If Goku Never Stopped Training. While the Saiyans were out in space going to face Frieza and his army, the humans plus Piccolo decided to stay on Earth in case if anything were to happen while they were gone. Months would have passed and they continued their training the entire time. They were getting bored as they never really had a chance to show their new power until Piccolo sensed a disturbance in the city. He notifies the others as they headed over there to a possible threat. They all wonder why none of them can sense any power levels as they grow a little worried. When they arrived, they all saw the destruction that happened and began to look around, splitting up. Most of them don't see anything until it comes to Yamcha as he is met with two normal looking people, which are Jiro and Android 16. He warns them to get away as it isn't safe until Jiro tells Android 16 to attack, and a battle begins. The others sense the spike in Yamcha's power and all head over to the direction. Yamcha gains in a battle but quickly is being overpowered by the android and decides to power up to Kaioken ×5, which closes the gap, but having 16 being the stronger fighter. The others arrive and quickly jump into action, with Krillin aiding Yamcha while the other three go to fight Jiro. Now the androids are stronger than the Z Fighters here, but are much weaker to their canon counterpart as they decide to attack much earlier in this timeline. Reason being as Dr. Jiro has been spying on them the entire time. He does still want revenge on Goku, but when he learned that of the Saiyans leaving the planet and bringing most of the strong fighters with them, he decided to attack while they were gone, as he believed it would be easier with only having to deal with the weaker fighters, but it does cost him as he couldn't finish the projects of Android 19 and adding some extra tweaks to 17 and 18. Also not gathering as much information as he would have liked and got less info than he did in canon. The Z Fighters are strong, no doubt, as they did train during the time of peace, but it wasn't always intense training, so they were a little unprepared. Piccolo and Tien would then fight against 16 while Chaozu tries to make him hold still, but it doesn't work. 16 is much stronger than Jiro, and he pushes the fighters to use Kaioken, but even at ×5, it isn't enough. 16 knocks Piccolo away and Tien goes to Kaioken ×10, which is too much to handle, but he manages to overpower 16 for a bit and destroy a piece of his body. But then Tien's body gives out with the overuse of a high level of Kaioken, as he falls to the floor in pain. 16 prepares to end Tien, but then is struck with a special beam cannon, going back by Piccolo, and this ends 16. Yamcha and Krillin still is fighting Jiro. They decide to use a combination attack with Krillin throwing many destructive discs while Jiro manages to dodge all of them until he sees Yamcha's Spirit Ball, which he does continue to dodge, but similar to what Yamcha did to Kami back in the 23rd World Tournament, he brings the attack underground and surprises Jiro by summoning the attack right under him and explodes as this caught Jiro off guard, and it seemed like he was taken care of. They all rally up and head back to the lookout for Dende to heal them. Piccolo says that this was too close for comfort for them and we're lucky that they had the advantage in numbers. He continues saying that they need to keep training as they aren't strong enough yet. Back on the battlefield, Robo's move as Jiro emerges heavily damaged but still alive as he quickly leaves to his lair. Once he arrives, he activates Android 17 and 18 and commands them to eliminate the fighters, plus Goku. But as normal, they would kill him. Now these androids are weaker in canon, but still are a lot stronger than the fighters that are on Earth currently. Back in the lookout, they discuss what they went against and that they should collect the Dragon Balls, but then Dende tells them that they are back and stronger than before. Everyone's confused that they thought they destroyed the androids, but then they sense that it's two different ones who are much stronger. They all prepare to head back, but Piccolo stops them saying that they will almost go to the time chamber and train because if they go out there now, they would just die. Piccolo makes a point and they all head to the time chamber. Before leaving, Piccolo asks Dende to contact Bulma to gather Dragon Balls as they might need the Saiyans to return back from their space adventure. But before Piccolo manages to get into the time chamber, he senses a mysterious, powerful key. He notifies the others and tells them to begin training without him, as he will go and check out the mysterious key. Piccolo flies towards a deserted land and sees a purple-haired kid with a sword. Piccolo quickly asks him who he is and why is he so powerful. Now, we will always keep Trunks' timeline the same in these what-ifs, but Trunks would tell Piccolo everything about his timeline and what will happen in the future, which then shocks Trunks to hear that the androids arrived 3 years earlier than normal and where the Saiyans are currently. Trunks grows worried and asks Piccolo what are they gonna do. Piccolo tells Trunks that he and the other warriors are currently training, and Piccolo asks Trunks to join them, as it could help them from stopping the androids. which Trunks without hesitation agrees. They quickly head to the lookout and begin their training with the others. After a quick catch up with them, a few hours pass as then they can only sense the horror and chaos that the androids are causing, while Bulma is still looking for the Dragon Balls. The Z Fighters do head out of the time chamber as they are much stronger thanks to Trunks being stronger, and they also taught Trunks the Kaioken so he can stack that with Super Saiyan. Piccolo grew the most as having a Super Saiyan as a training partner, and with the humans learning about the future, this gave them more motivation while they were training. They prepared by bringing some sensu beans and heading over to the destruction caused by the androids, and prepared to fight them on their own. They land nearby to see cities destroyed, and then two teenagers standing by. They first think it's two normal people, but with Trunks there, he quickly warns them that those are the androids he came to warn them about. They quickly get into a fighting pose, and begin to get into a brawl with Trunks and Piccolo fighting 17, and the humans fighting 18. Now even with the androids being stronger, these Z fighters are stronger in their own right. With everyone having Kaioken, their teamwork is a lot better, with always training together and having the numbers against the androids. Trunks sees the androids make him go enraged, stacking Kaioken with Super Saiyan and begins to overpower 17 for a bit, but soon Trunks' body would begin to slow down as Trunks isn't used this amount of strain from his body. But Piccolo would jump in, going to Kaioken times 30, which makes him a lot more powerful than 17, but his body breaks rather quickly. Every time his arm would break, he would just rip it out and grow it back to continue fighting. He knows he cannot keep doing this as soon he would lose all his energy, so he forms a plan with Trunks to eliminate 17. Trunks would rush 17, fighting him while Piccolo charges up a Hellzor grenade and begins shooting ki blasts around the two. 17 thinks he is missing his shots until Trunks teleports away from 17 and 17 is blasted with the attack, which hurts him a lot. And when he was still recovering, Trunks slices 17 in half and finishes him off like how he did to Mecha Frieza and Kanon. With the humans, even with their joint forces, 18 shows that she is a strong opponent. So with their teamwork, they form up a plan. Shiatsu would sneak up on her and use all his power to try to freeze her in place. And when he does, Tien would power up to Kaioken times 15 and spam his Neo Tri-Beam like he did with Semi-Perfect Cell. And to finish her off, both Yamcha and Krillin powering up to Kaioken times 10 both launch a full power Kamehameha at the crater, in which that powerful combination of attacks, it does manage to destroy Android 18. All three of the humans collapse to the ground as they all overdid it with the Kaioken. Piccolo, Trunks, and Shiatsu would help them go back to the lookout, and Trunks is in disbelief that they actually beat the androids. Once they got to the lookout and recuperated, as they were surprised by the Saiyans since Bulma got the Dragon Balls and wished them to be brought back to Earth. They were all surprised as well, as Goku was kind of upset as Vegeta did not let him fight King Cold. They all wondered who Trunks was as he got them all love, but kept the part of being the son of Vegeta and Bulma. Goku thanks Trunks for the medicine and trying to warn them for a threat. This does leave a problem for Trunks as he wanted to restore peace in his time, as Dende offers him a plan and go with him to his timeline to help restore things and possibly get his Earth their own guardian, which brings a smile to his face as they would head back and quickly return once more to bring Dende back. They all thought he wasn't there for long, but Dende explained that he created Dragon Balls there to find a planet Namek and then to bring a new guardian to Earth, and they created Dragon Balls as Trunks wished back everyone who were killed by the androids and to be brought back to Earth. He was greeted by everyone. He saw his father and Gohan and was happy. During their time in the afterlife, they trained a lot and managed to get really strong, as all three of them would go into the time chamber to have a quick training session where Gohan and Vegeta taught Trunks Super Saiyan 2 and Trunks taught them the Kaioken. And once they got out of the time chamber, they were far strong enough to defeat the androids as they headed out and ended the android threat. After that, Trunks brought Dende back to his timeline. They are glad everything's alright and at peace. Everyone would enjoy the peace, but would still continue training as they would not know when the next threat will come. Vegeta and Nappa would stay at the Capsule Corp, and Vegeta and Bulma would still have Trunks, while Raditz stays with his brother and Gohan, and them continue training as well, while the others would primarily stay at the lookout continuing their training. Now instead of a 7-year time skip, it would be a 10-year time skip since all the events of the androids happened a lot earlier than normal. Everyone relaxes thinking all the threats have been dealt with, but way down below in a secret lab, one green bug still lives and continues to develop alone without being disturbed and without anyone knowing that the bug even exists. And this is where we'll leave it off for now. Let me know how y'all think about this part and how I did with the Android saga. Do y'all like how I gave the humans and Piccolo their own time to shine, and how the future timeline is peaceful and everyone comes back to life with the exception of, Goku? Do y'all think the Z-Fighters would be ready for the next threat of Majin Buu? If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya!